Welcome! Today we are going to be discussing a supplement that is widely marketed as a weight loss product called conjugated linoleic acid.
Conjugated linoleic acid, otherwise known as CLA, is a fatty acid that occurs naturally in grazing animals such as cattle. It can be artificially synthesized from plant oils for the purpose of creating concentrated doses into capsules to be taken, supposedly, for the purpose of gaining certain health benefits.
It is our hope that by the end of this video you will feel sufficiently informed as to what you can expect or not expect from taking CLA supplements. While the choice is yours as to what you can purchase or put into your body, it is best to make those decisions based on fact and not on advertisements alone. It is our opinion, based on the research we have reviewed, that CLA supplements simply aren't worth taking. Here is what research tells us about CLA supplementation.
With regards to decreasing body fat mass, CLA supplementation produces unreliable results. Many of the studies that show successful fat reduction as the result of taking CLA have been done using rodents. In these studies, which do tend to demonstrate success, researchers are able to control the caloric intake of the participants. This is not possible in most cases for human trials. Also, animal trials tend to use adolescent rodents, whereas human trials use adults. There are significant differences in metabolic and growth rates between these two stages of life. In general, given that rodents and humans are very different species, we cannot infer that what is successful in rats will be equally successful in humans. So, what do we see in human trials?
In humans, researchers have found some significant effects regarding CLA supplements and body fat loss, but such effects are unreliable. Researchers have been unable to conclude whether higher doses of CLA produce greater weight loss or if the effects of CLA supplements can be sustained over time. It is important to also understand that the significant results that were found were only modest. In other words, the effect of the CLA supplement in decreasing body fat loss is not that dramatic to begin with.
Let's go through some specific studies that have tested whether or not CLA supplements are effective. It is not our intention to provide a one-sided report, so to begin, we will cover experimental trials that have provided support for the claim that CLA supplements aid weight loss.
In a study of healthy adults, researchers randomly assigned 53 men and women to receive either CLA capsules or placebo capsules made of olive oil to be taken every day. The intervention lasted 12 weeks, and neither the researchers nor the participants were aware if their given supplement consisted of CLA or olive oil. The results revealed that CLA significantly decreased the proportion of body fat in participants by 3.8%.
However, the study had a small sample size, and the smaller the sample, the less representative that sample is of the population. So we need to be careful when generalizing the results of the trial. Also, there was no follow-up assessment, so we cannot know whether the fat loss was sustained over time. Nevertheless, the results still support that CLA may reduce body fat in healthy weight individuals.
One thing that is important to consider with regards to taking supplements is dosage. In this next study, researchers tested the changes in body fat of 60 overweight or obese individuals with different doses of CLA supplements. Participants were randomly assigned to receive either olive oil placebo capsules or 1.7, 3.4, 5.1, or 6.8 gram CLA capsules per day for 12 weeks.
After those 12 weeks, participants in the 3.4 and 6.8 gram groups had significantly less body fat compared to the placebo group. However, there were no added benefits of taking CLA doses higher than 3.5 grams per day, meaning the individuals in the 6.8 gram group did not lose more weight than the 3.5 gram group.
While we do know that the differences in fat loss were statistically significant, meaning the two groups were different enough that we can be confident that the differences did not occur by chance, we cannot conclude whether it was clinically significant because the authors of the study did not provide effect sizes. Clinical significance refers to whether or not the differences in fat loss were meaningful in some way, realistically speaking. It is also important to note that the results of this study do not generalize to healthy weight individuals, as the sample only included individuals who were overweight and obese.
Another thing to consider about CLA supplementation is that there are multiple forms of CLA. In another study, researchers assessed the effectiveness of supplementation of multiple forms of CLA in overweight men and women between the ages of 18 and 65. Participants were randomly assigned to either receive placebo capsules made of olive oil, CLA free fatty acid capsules, or CLA triacylglycerol capsules, to be taken every day for 12 months. Both researchers and participants were unaware of which treatment participants received.
Both CLA conditions resulted in significant reduction of body fat mass compared to the placebo condition. In addition, both CLA groups exhibited significant reduction in overall body weight and BMI. These changes occurred in the absence of any alterations of diet and exercise habits.
Because there was no follow-up period, there is no knowing whether the results were maintained after supplementation stopped. However, most participants in all groups complied with directions, and few people withdrew from the study, which indicates that the supplements were well tolerated overall.
So, overall, a few studies have shown participant weight loss that was significant enough to likely be due to CLA supplementation and not due to chance. The question of whether this weight loss was meaningful to those participants in any way practical is still up for debate. So now that we've discussed the trials that provide empirical support for the weight loss claims, let's examine the evidence to the contrary.
Another study examined the effectiveness of CLA supplementation in adult men and women with BMIs ranging from 23 to 27.5. Participants again were randomly assigned to either CLA or placebo supplements, and neither researchers nor participants were aware of which they received. In this case, CLA was added to yogurt rather than consumed in capsule form. Participants were instructed to consume either CLA supplemented yogurt or placebo yogurt every day for 14 weeks.
An impressive 99.9% of participants complied with instructions and consumed the yogurt as directed. Despite the fact that most participants followed directions thoroughly, however, CLA supplementation did not significantly affect body weight, BMI, or the amount of body fat.
It is worth mentioning that the sample size was rather small, but certain calculations made prior to the experiment indicated that a sample of 40 would enable the researchers to detect significant effects, and there were over 40 participants in the sample.
Another study examined the effectiveness of CLA supplementation in healthy women between the ages of 20 and 41. Participants were randomly assigned to CLA supplements or a placebo control. For the 94-day duration of the study, participants lived 24 hours a day and 7 days a week in the metabolic suite at the Western Human Nutrition Research Center, in which their meals and activity level were standardized and controlled. Participants were randomly assigned to either receive CLA capsules or sunflower oil placebo capsules. In this case, only participants were unaware of whether or not they had actually received CLA supplements or not.
For the first 30 days of the study, all participants took the placebo capsules, and then the treatment group took the CLA capsules for a total of 64 days. No significant differences in body weight or body fat mass were observed between the CLA and control groups. The controlled setting allows us to rule out diet and activity level as alternative explanations for the results. However, this means that the findings are not generalizable to a real-world setting, because diet and exercise are not controlled by research staff in real life.
In fairness, it is certainly worth mentioning that the study featured a very small sample, so it is unclear whether the sample was sufficient to determine whether the two groups were different enough to be confident that the difference did not occur by chance.
Let's take a look at the big picture. A meta-analysis of all double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled trials summarized the effects of CLA supplementation on body fat as follows. Overall, results indicated a statistically significant but very modest effect of CLA on body fat loss. By very modest, we mean a loss of around 0.19 pounds per week. In other words, it would take you 2 whole months to lose 1.5 pounds. Also, there was insufficient data to draw conclusions regarding a dose-effect response. It also remains unclear whether the effects of CLA supplementation are maintained over time, as most trials do not feature follow-up measures.
It's important to consider that the participants included in most of the studies were not tested within a controlled setting, so differences in fat loss response may occur due to variability in lifestyle choices. The same is true for those who would take CLA supplements in real life.
Taking CLA supplements would not be a quick and easy fix for someone looking to lose weight if that person is still living an unhealthy lifestyle. Diet and exercise choices still play an important role in weight and body fat percentage. Although, as we saw in the study that took place in the metabolic suite at the Western Human Nutrition Research Center, it is possible that someone might consume a healthy diet and get adequate physical activity and still not see any benefits of taking CLA supplements.
As you can see, there are mixed results regarding CLA supplements as an effective fat loss tool. Though some research supports the claim that CLA has a significant impact on body fat, these effects are quite small and therefore not very meaningful. In summary, the research evidence regarding CLA as a fat loss product is not promising. A simple Google search reveals that a single bottle of 90 CLA gel capsules can cost anywhere from $7 to $23 or more online. This may not seem like a lot of money, but any amount of money is too much to spend on a product that likely won't work.
A more appropriate course of action would be to consume a balanced diet and to participate in healthy amounts of physical activity. If you treat your body well, you will find your best self. Remember, your best self may not be stick thin, and that's okay. Thinness should not be your goal. Focus on your health, not your weight or shape, and your body will reward you for that. Remember, all things in moderation. And don't buy into every advertisement promising a quick and easy solution. Advertisements for CLA claim to know how you feel about your frustrating weight loss journey, and they promise that their product is the solution that will aid your weight loss efforts. But as we've just seen, the research doesn't support that claim. Think critically about the information you consume so that you are able to make the best decisions for your own well-being.